guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. Some cool items, some cool vintage pieces. Can't wait to kind of talk to you about what sold, how much I got for them, how long I had them in my closet. Really just kind of like bring you into that part of my process. I am running exceptionally late today. My day got pushed way back. So it is after 4 p.m. right now. So I am running very late. So if I sound like I'm rushed, I apologize. It's probably because I am. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, as I mentioned before, I am running super late. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipment. So the first thing we have here is this cute pair of Jeffrey Campbell booties. These are suede lace up. I've already stuffed these with packing paper just to like keep their shape during shipping. I urge you to, like, I have seen so many posts of people just throwing shoes in boxes, kind of stuffing them. Like, guys, take the time and like wrap the shoes individually, stuff them, keep their shape. You know, these are the kind of things that give people like a great experience when they shop secondhand. So take the time to do things right, you know, like wrap things the way that you would like to receive them. But either way, Jeffrey Campbell, love Jeffrey Campbell shoes. He had such a chokehold on like the 2010s. Like he made the best ankle booties like in the world. Very expensive, but they're not selling for quite as much. I've had these for quite a while, but still really good quality. Again, like nice suedes, nice leathers, really like sturdy heels. But either way, I had these for just about 10 months. I thought I had had these for over a year, but I had these for about 10 months. I had them listed at $42 and I got an offer for $30. I was ready to move these on. I've had them for a while and they are chunky. So with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $26.44. Happy to be getting these off to a new home and getting some wear again. Next up is this adorable, like hand tie-dyed romper jumpsuit, boiler suit from a brand called Bell and Day. Now, Bell and Day is a local LA company here. I don't know if they're still in business, but I've found a couple of their pieces and they're all like kind of equally funky like this. I'm gonna guess that this was probably like a Levi's like work suit that they cut off and, you know, hand tie-dyed. They did, everything I found from them is like really kind of interesting cuts and fun embellishments, just really fun garments. So I guess they have a little bit of a following here. And of course, if they're not still in business, then obviously there's no new product out on the market. So everything I've had from them is sold really quick. I'm interested. Now, let me know if you have ever seen something from Bell and Day. They have a handwritten brand tag on like the back neck tag. I'm interested to hear if you have found one. And let me know, are you in like the LA area or are you somewhere else? Let me know like if you found anything, what you found, did you sell it? Did it sell quick as well? But I don't find their stuff all that often, but I will grab it every time that I see it. So I had this listed for 3 months. I had it listed at $42. It popped through as a full price sale. I'm pretty sure that everything that I've had from them has popped through as a full price sale. Again, like I just don't think it's something, if somebody really looks, if somebody's really looking for a brand like this, I think that it's so small and so niche and there's so little of it around. I feel like there's just not a lot of people that are willing to like risk losing out on a piece. Anyway, I had it listed for $42. Got it popped through as a full price sale. I want to say that this retailed probably like $150. The $1 cost of the bins has brought me to a profit of $32.60. Oh, I hope she loves it. It's such a fun little piece. Like I said, everything, this is like the definition of dopamine dressing. Like Bell and Day stuff is dopamine dressing. Next up is this little sundress from Brandy Melville. Now I don't pick up a lot of Brandy Melville at all, but I do pick up these little sundresses if I see them in good condition. And I will tell you, the ones in good condition are pretty few and far between. Quality of Brandy Melville stuff is not great, but the sundresses are something that I know people still really like. That was really popular like in the mid 2010s and still sells through quite well. I mean, they weren't super expensive to begin with. I want to say that they were like 35 bucks. They're not a ton of fabric, you know, but they were like the hot commodity when Brandy Melville was at like the peak of their popularity. Guys, if you haven't yet, I recommend, especially if you're a reseller, that you take some time and watch Brandy Melville. I did finally watch it. I don't think I ever like gave my commentary on it, and I will say that it is like required viewing for a reseller because it will reconfirm your belief in what you are doing, because there is just so much clothing waste out there. We are helping to get that out of the waste stream piece by piece. But either way, I had this listed for $24, and that's about, you know, like somewhere between $15 and $25 is what you're gonna get for like a Brandy piece. So if you're out there buying, like, please do not be paying up for this brand. But I had it listed for $24. My sidekick sent an offer for $21. I had it for about 8 months. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $15.80. Happy to be moving this one on. I have had this for quite a while, but let me know, do you pick up Brandy Melville? Do you like, did you used to pick up a lot more? Do you pick up less? Like, let me know how you are handling Brandy Melville at the moment. Going from some super cheap fast fashion to absolutely exquisite high-end mulberry silk. This is a stunning little camisole from Joe Bruno, who I'd never heard of before. But when I saw this, like, the silk was so beautiful and it had this beautiful lace embellishment. The construction was really nice. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, I mean, I didn't even comp this in store. I don't know if Joe Bruno is still around, but she sold at like Neiman Marcus, so definitely high end. Again, exquisite fabric and a new brand that I had never heard of before. This feels very 1920s, like the silhouette of this and like where the bust is. It's one of those busts that gathers like above the actual bust. It has that kind of Art Deco feel to it, which is, if I have to go back in history, like if I had to pick the era in history that I would like to dress like for the rest of my life, it would 100% be the 1920s, despite the fact that as a girl with like curves, it's maybe the worst era for me. But let me know, what would be like your era of choice? If you had to dress in one era of fashion for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? I just love silk and beads and trim and like light androgyny. That's very like my flavor, you know? So I had this listed for $36 for about 6 months. It was a size, I think, extra small, so I knew it was gonna take a little time to sell. And my sidekick sent an offer for $32, which was accepted. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $24.60. So I hope she loves it. Stuff like this is like the kind of stuff that in my mind, it's like almost criminal that it could go into like the waste stream, you know? Like just that silk alone, right? Next up, this is another beautiful little lingerie piece. This is Jonquille by Diane Samandi. This is a little like bridal peignoir. Look at these sleeves. I mean, I love a bell sleeve. I especially love a lace bell sleeve. This beautiful condition. Jonquille, again, also sold at Neiman Marcus. Super high-end brand. This is something obviously meant for like a wedding trousseau. Well, that folds down so tiny for such a big robe. But I love picking up this brand. They do have another, like a diffusion brand called In Bloom by Jonquille. I've also picked up pieces from there before. They sell really well. And these are very expensive. This was probably about $250, $300 when it was new. And it's in fabulous condition. Again, always keep an eye on those sleepwear sections in the thrift store if that is where you are sourcing. These kind of things, I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that people don't want to go paying crazy amounts for. And those prices are generally cheaper than other sections in the thrift store. Like the sleepwear prices are generally a little bit less than elsewhere in the thrift store. So you can usually find some good deals, and stuff like this, you know, sells quite well for a pretty good price. So I had this listed for $54. I had it for about 10 months. And I got an offer for $45, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $35 even. Hope she loves it. Again, super happy to be getting this off and getting a little bit more wear to it. Next up, this is something that I'll pick up every time I see it. This is a pair of sweatpants from the North Face. Really simple. This color is kind of trending right now. In fact, the Pantone color of the year this year is this like chocolate moussey color. I can't remember what it's called. You know, I gotta say, as somebody who like follows trends and follows a lot of trend forecasters, I feel like they're like 3 years late on this color. That's like the color that all the Skims things were when they came out like 2 to 3 years ago. It feels weird for Pantone to be like late to a trend because they were always kind of part of the equation when you were looking at like color trend. Anyway, it's still popular. It's just like, it's still popular. It's not like new and trending now, right? Anyway, this is just a regular spell out logo sweatpant from the North Face in like basically brand new condition. I want to say that this was a size extra large. These are the kind of things that are like no-brainers to pick up. You can comfortably pay up a little bit for them, not too much. It's not like an Arc'teryx where you're gonna get $40, $50 for something like this, but you will get reliably somewhere between like 20 and 30. And of course, you wanna keep your eyes out for the jackets and stuff, especially the puffy jackets. They still sell really well. And the North Face definitely has some interesting collabs to keep your eyes out for that sell for big bucks. They're one of those companies that has put a lot of resources into strategic collaborations, and it has paid off quite well for them, and a lot of them do draw a good price on the resale market. But these guys I had listed for just under 2 months. I had them listed for $32 and I got an offer for $25, which I did gladly accept. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19 even. Keep your eyes out for the North Face, guys, especially when you find something in really good shape, because a lot of these things do get worn a lot, so they do kind of wear out. These were like brand new condition. Next up is this cute little Pure Jill sweater. Now, I always pick up Pure Jill line, the Love Linen. I love J. Jill in general. Their stuff doesn't, you know, it's not something that you're gonna pull in, you know, 45 or 50 bucks on everything. Every once in a blue moon, you'll get something that sells like for a higher price, but in general, you're gonna get between like 20 and like 35 on most pieces, but it's gonna be generally like a reliable fast seller because people love J. Jill. And J. Jill is quite expensive retail. Now this is a cotton blend, so I wasn't expecting like crazy dollars on this, but when you do find like a linen sweater or an all cotton sweater, those are the kind of things that do sell quite well. But this one is like so chunky. I was excited to get this moved on. This is what happens to me every winter. Like my storage starts to swell because I pick up a lot more sweaters in the winter and I freak out. So every time I move something chunky like this, it feels like very, I really like my workspace to be very organized. Like that's a thing. And lots of chunky sweaters makes it feel pretty chaotic. But I do love J. Jill, and I'll pick up most of the pieces as long as they're in great condition. If I'm seeing things in like a smaller and medium, I'm only really gonna pick it up if it's something that's a little bit more substantial, you know, better quality textiles, whatever. But I had this listed for $30 for just a week and a half. I got an offer for $20, which I did accept. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $15 even. Next up, now this is an interesting thing to talk about. This is a pair of leggings from Outdoor Voices. And Outdoor Voices used to be like such a bolo for me. Like they have a really crazy story with like their founder and what happened when I think like if you are in any way interested in like business kind of founding startup stories, you should read about Outdoor Voices and what happened to them. Like they were the absolute toast of the workout world. And don't get me wrong, like they are still really, really nice quality pieces. So like if you're in the market for leggings, keep an eye out for them. They're very nice and you can get them for a pretty great deal these days, but these used to be so hot and you could find one and you'd be able to turn around and sell it for like $70 because they always sold out of different colorways. And this was just a gray pair. A lot of them used to be this like color block design where the lower leg was a darker version of the upper leg. And if you found a sold out color, like you could sell for more than retail. But they've fallen off considerably. Like I said, I stand by the fact that they are good quality leggings and they are worth a look if you are in the market for leggings for yourself. They kind of remind me of like the Lululemon Luxtreme, if you're familiar with that fabric. Either way, I had these for a year, so just so you understand. And I had them listed for $28. I had lowered the price a couple times throughout the year. And my sidekick sent an offer for $25, which was accepted. They're in like perfect condition. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19. I'm happy to be moving these on. This is something that like I actively leave behind. But again, if you're shopping for yourself, don't hesitate because the quality is there. They're really nice. Just maybe not the thing to be picking up today for resale. Next up, I think this is something that my mom picked up actually. This is from Victoria's Secret. And it's this adorable, like vintage inspired little bralette. It is a size extra small, so it was gonna be a slow seller anyway. But the lace is really beautiful, really delicate, and it's in like brand new condition. And I pick these kind of things up quite frequently. I like them because, you know, even if they're slower sellers, and they're usually not slower sellers, especially if you find them in more like mediums, larges, extra larges. An extra small anything is just gonna be a slower sell. The thing I like about them is I tend to get a pretty decent profit on them. and they're very small, you know, so they don't require a ton of storage space. And I generally will pick up like Victoria's Secret, I'll pick up the Free People Intimately pieces. Of course, if I see like an Asian Provocateur or Cosabella, one of the higher end lingerie brands, I'll also pick those up. I do not see them frequently. I see probably Free People and Victoria's Secret the most frequently, but either way, for me, they work well, especially because I can source for a pretty low dollar amount. If you're outsourcing for $4, $5, I might pass on that. $3 would probably be about the limit of where I would stop on these kind of bralettes. Unless it's Asian Provocateur, because you'll probably get like 40 or 50 bucks for something like that. Very, very expensive brand. Anyway, I had this listed for about 6 months. I had it listed for $22. I got an offer for $15, which I did accept with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $12.32. Hope she loves it. Very cute. That feels very, again, that like 1920s style. Next up is this is actually going to one of you guys, this adorable Chico's open weave poncho. It's got such a nice drape to it, and it's got this really cool, I don't know how well you can see it, but this kind of like uneven shredded feature at the front. I remember when I first saw this in the bins, I thought that it was like ruined. Like I thought that it was, you know, kind of unraveling until I took a closer look and realized that like it's knotted where these pieces go into the actual garment. So I'm like, oh no, this is intentional. It's just a very like, it's kind of like a deconstructed look to it, which is very cool. This will be a great like little outfit topper or like swim cover up. But you know Chico's makes a great garment. They just, you know, they're very expensive retail. So as long as I'm getting like a larger size, large, extra large and up, I'll pick them up all the time. Like they're just one of those brands that kind of like is known, like people know their sizes in Chico's, they know the quality they're gonna get with Chico's, so it's something that they like buy comfortably on like on the secondhand market. They also tend to be garments that wash pretty easily. Like I feel like I've never really found anything from Chico's that's like ultra delicate in terms of like how you have to care for it. I see that a lot with like fast fashion pieces. Like I'll see a lot of like Zara pieces that are like rayon and you can tell that they've shrunk up like 4 inches. I just don't see that with Chico's pieces, and same for J. Jill. They tend to be easy care type garments. That matters, especially if you are like a busy working mom, like you do not have the time to deal with like finicky garments. But either way, I had this listed for $32, and after we went back and forth a few times, we landed on a price of $22. I had this for about 2 months, a little under 2 months. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brings me to a profit of $17.63. I hope you absolutely love it. This is such a cute little top. And finally, this cool vintage leather jacket. This is giving me like Dorothy Zbornak vibes. Remember how they always put her in the, like, cause she was a tall drink of water. Remember how they always put her in those like blazers with those extra long lapels? Like this is where the notch of the lapel is. Like this couldn't be more 80s if it tried. But it's large, it's vintage, and I gotta say, for a probably 35-year-old jacket, I'm gonna guess this is probably like mid to late 80s, just going on the silhouette of it. This is in phenomenal condition. Like this leather is gorgeous. Got a little like bit of a puff sleeve. It's just like such a vibe. And I 100%, despite the fact that this is very dated, like I know that somebody can pull this off in a very cool way. Like I could also see somebody picking this up to like embellish it, like paint it or like add studs to it. Like I could see somebody doing something really cool with this jacket. Like I'll pick up leather jackets when I find them. Like the style is kind of irrelevant. Like leather is just so expensive that if you see it in good condition in the bins, you should just be picking it up. Maybe not like an extra small, you know, 2010 cheap leather jacket, but if you find something like this that was clearly like a high quality leather, you know, it's in good condition, and you should be picking that up. Like that's a no-brainer, because you're probably gonna get no less than $35, $40 on any of these pieces. So I had this listed for $60 for about 3 weeks. It was missing the closure button. I don't think that really matters. I can't really see people wearing that buttoned up. It feels like something that you wear unbuttoned, but probably easily replaceable. But I got an offer for $45, which I gladly accepted. That was a really quick sale for this. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brings me to a profit of $39.69. And that is the shipment for today, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. It's always so nice to have somebody to chat with while I get this stuff done. But as I mentioned before, it is now 4:45. So I need to get rolling. I need to get these things in the car and I need to get them to the post office before it closes. So as always, if you have any kind of content that you'd like to see from me, do not hesitate to put it down below. If you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.